I'm State Representative Eric Nelson from the 57th District.
And I'm State Representative Eric Devanza from the 58th Legislative District.
And we are E squared.
That's right, man. Getting it in, getting the body movement in there.
Yeah, they're cutting us down.
I
They're
know.
trying to fence in the Stallions. It's tough.
It
tough
is
week
tough.
in Harrisburg this week.
Oh,
you know?
real tough, real tough. But hey, back home, big weekend last week.
Great
right? Will,
week back home.
Gretchen, you got one graduation, you got a 15-year-old. Hay season. I see you have,
Yeah.
hold up, you got all 10 digits
So
left.
all very successful haymaking. You know, we did not have any minor amputations this year, which is good and great. I mean, it's perfect hay. You know, across the state. I was talking to a farmer walking into the Capitol this morning. He's got 90 acres. He said, you know, the best hay that they've been able to make. But now we need rain. You know, we need rain.
Definitely.
But it was no rain made for a great graduation. You know, kid number 4, Will, over the hump.
Oh, you do remember names? It's
yeah.
just not kid number 4?
Yes, yeah.
All right, who was kid number 6?
He had everybody crying, and he ended his graduation speech with, "Happy birthday, Gretchen, and I love your mom." And
really?
Like all the stands are like, "Oh."
You know, he's the favorite son for at least a week anyway,
yes,
right?
yeah. Till he forgets to pick up his socks or whatever, you know. But so then, how about yourself? How'd things go out in Ohio?
Good. You know, Braille softball, they went 2-1 on Saturday, come back Sunday, started off with a great victory, and they actually lost. It was 3-1 to the team that actually won a championship, but they were up 1-0, one inning, just
That's
got
all
2
it
to 3
takes?
runs. That's all it takes. in
Nobody
tennis.
got thrown out this.
Well, the
this,
other team got thrown out. One of the guys, but me and Rochelle, we're
That
good.
should be a video clip that we would share. Would be like one of those parents getting booted.
As long as it's not me, I'm all right with
it's
that.
It's crazy. It is crazy.
It is crazy.
So in this week, we got a great guest, Chairman Roae.
State government chairman.
State government chairman, and from Erie and Crawford County.
Correct.
You know, yes. What district number is that?
It's district number 6, mostly western Erie County, and then western and central Crawford County.
Yes. So, and you've been the chairman for on a couple of different committees now, right?
Yeah, this is my 3rd term as a chair, and I chaired Consumer Affairs, then Commerce, and now I'm chair in state government.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got to serve with you under on Consumer Affairs, and now you're on state government with me.
Great committee. Really is.
It's sweet. So, kids, family, what's life like up there?
My wife and I, we've been married for just over 25 years. We have 3 kids. I don't brag about my kids, so I'm not going to mention my son got on the dean's list in the spring and fall semester at Teal College, and I'm not going to brag that my other son, Brad Jr., got a meritorious promotion to corporal in the United States Marine Corps.
Oh, cool. Good.
He's
Then-
a corporal already.
Yeah.
That
Then,
is
then my
awesome.
oldest daughter, yeah, you're a Marine. And then my daughter, she's a horse trainer. She works in the equestrian industry. So we're proud of all 3 of our kids, and our other non-human kids. We have dogs, chickens, cats. So always a lot of activity at our house.
Oh yeah. So we had chickens. You know,
Yeah.
those raccoons are coming. Like we lost baby chicken. Raccoon got into our teenage chicken coop, and then Sweet Sue and Kennedy fought off a raccoon. Coming back the next night, got into the big coop and was almost killed one of the chickens, ripped all its fur off. They heard this big battle. They go up there with knives and the gator, and yeah. So we're doing some shotgun training later.
So this is
week.
the life when we're not home, because when we're home, this stuff doesn't happen, right?
Right,
The minute
right.
we go away for the night, this is when it happens.
They hear it, and you know, when a raccoon's fighting a chicken, like it's loud. It's a little bit. I got to give them credit, you know, because our gator doesn't have headlights anymore, and so they're heading up there in the dark to the coop. And have you been battling your coyotes or raccoons?
You know, we do pretty good. We have 2 dogs, and they're outside a lot. We don't really have problems with predators. And we've done pretty good. So.
Well, you know, and I'm not sure if we have a picture, but my picture of you through the years of COVID, because there's not a lot of broadband up your way. And so tell us how you spent a lot of meetings, you know, because you became somewhat famous within our caucus.
I did almost every Zoom meeting, almost every Teams meeting I did during COVID was either in my truck or in my car, parked in front of some place that has good Wi-Fi.
Yes.
And now in our house we have good service, but my wife was working at home, And we couldn't both be doing a Zoom meeting at the same time. You know, we have a really small house, so it's easier for me just to go into the car and do it.
Yes.
And that's something, because I just came in 3 days before, February 17th, Wolf shut everything down the 20th, and then as I was joining the Zooms.
He was out hanging on a telephone pole up there trying to, put
on top of the hill, snow blowing, and then I'm looking at this guy in a minivan thinking, what the
See, instead of coming in here today, I almost went down to the parking area to do this from my car because I'm so accustomed to doing stuff like this from my car.
I think a lot of people don't realize it's tough, when your kids have to go to McDonald's or Panera Bread to upload their assignments, But not a lot of broadband action in this budget, That was a big thing this week, right? It was a split vote, Democrats advance an even couple $1 billion higher than Shapiro's budget. And you're a great numbers guy. It's always good to hear your analysis. What are some of your thoughts of this?
Well, it spends way too much. I mean, Shapiro's proposal was just outrageously expensive. This adds a couple $1 billion on top of that. And we would burn through the surplus and the rainy day fund in 2 or 3 years if we actually did this budget proposal. It's outrageous.
It's just not balanced. I mean,
No, not balanced. And listen, we got this thing at when? Noon? You're going to vote on it at 6 o'clock, and there's just no way we don't even know what's in it. There's just no way to even look at it. But, and it picks winners and losers yet. And this is something that I always felt that Wolf did, and clearly Shapiro's picking up right in his footsteps, We're going to reward you, but we're going to take from you on it. And I don't, not a fan of it.
It'll definitely lead to a tax increase if we did pass this.
Yeah.
Because you can't sustain this level of spending with a 6% sales tax and a 3% personal income tax.
Yeah, single year. I mean, we're already in the mega billions. 14% increase, and they're still wanting more. It's just that I think the thing that's frustrating to me is this theme of pitting groups against each other. Like controversial vote, we took some heat this week, but what was it? It was like the vote for taking money from the homestead farmstead that would go to people who own homes and their property tax reduction, and then giving it to renters.
Yeah, correct. So, and that's what it did. Instead of giving people who actually owned a property a rebate, it would go to the property tax rent rebate, people that were renting. So the money wasn't necessarily going back to the people that own the land. But if I'm not mistaken, that fund, $250 million cap on it, right? And that's lottery, there's some slot money in there. And I thought Thomas Klutz had his amendment removed that cap, right? Because anything over 250 goes into the general fund.
Yeah.
So there's a chance, we could have built that up, and we probably could have given everybody $500.
And the rent rebate program is fantastic. It's so important for people. But when we're throwing around billions of dollars of new money, then fund the program with new money.
Correct.
So, but it's tough. It's a tough vote. I know you were voted the other way on that.
Yeah, I could have gone either way. I was really torn on that vote because in principle, I support helping people with that lottery money, but I do think we need to stay focused on the lower income people. That's who need the most help. And also, we need to have a way to properly fund it, not just spending money from the surplus. And the slot machine money is only going to go so far. So the Senate is definitely going to have to, make that legislation more sustainable. And I'm sure we'll have that again. And the Democrats don't really seem to care that much about the money actually adding up. They just try to do things by, they can send out press releases and stuff.
Correct.
But I'm optimistic that legislation will get improved in the Senate, and we'll all be able to support it when it comes back.
Yeah, it is. Sometimes I forget because it's a multi-step process, and so hopefully, they'll make some adjustments, and
it does seem like a lot of the bills are just headline grabbers.
Right.
Like for instance, even the rail bill that we voted on this week. We all agreed something needs done with our rail system. You see these train derailments, but the bill wasn't it wasn't the best. I voted for it just for the fact that we got to do something, but it needs cleaned up and it needs to do a lot of work in the Senate.
Yeah,
so.
and our rail folks, a lot of them are jerks, you know? Like they are not cooperative with the communities. Norfolk Southern is just almost obstinate.
I battled with them over a at-grade railroad crossing for several years. Yeah, they're very, very, very challenging to work with.
And I know not all rail is that way, but it just gives a sour taste. But one of the sour tastes that I have, the biggest thing in this budget that is also historic, not only the increase in the spend, but the hidden energy tax.
Yes.
You know,
Reggie,
$630 million gonna go against our energy producers. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's going to show up in all of our electric bills.
Correct.
You know, this isn't some fictitious group that's paying this money. It's our constituents are going to be paying that. And yeah, it's just terrible. And what's really frustrating overall, and don't answer this, you Eric, because you know the answer. But this, Eric, how many actual pieces of legislation has the governor signed into law so far?
I don't know that he's done any.
One. That breast cancer legislation.
Oh, yep.
One.
That was a good one.
So
That was a good
things
one.
like, you know, a lot of things passing out of all these committees are things the Senate's not going to do. So it's really kind of a waste of time, a lot of what's going on here.
Yeah.
And
And how about what's not going to do? Bechtel's billion-dollar energy plant that they canceled last month because of the threat that Pennsylvania energy producers, they can't get it through the permits. They can't,
Right.
you know, on one side, somebody stands in front of a podium and says, Pennsylvania's open for business. And on the backside, I just learned this week, he's actually funding, Governor Shapiro is funding the law firm that is trying to get Reggie implemented. At the same time, he's saying, I don't really know that, like.
So rather
it's
than
just-
working on permitting reform, we're like naming different days, and we're, you know, passing budgets that can't possibly ever pass, and we're just wasting our time.
Hey,
on
Brad,
the list.
speaking of naming,
Yeah.
are we saying your last name wrong? Is it Brad Roae? Roe?
It
What
is
it?
Roy. It is Roy.
Because you had to do a clarification.
I
Was it
did.
yesterday?
I did. Now, what's funny is back in the district, if somebody will say Brad, they'll say or they'll say Representative. How do you pronounce your name? I'll say Brad, just to kind of loosen things up a little. Then they say no, I mean your last name. Then I say, well, it's pronounced Roy, just like it's spelled Roae.
Yeah, that's Roy. That's Roy,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
Yeah, I had to correct our speaker the other day because Representative Roe gets mixed up with myself, Representative Roy. So I just want to make sure there's
Well,
no.
I can see that. You know, both two great-looking guys, muscular, athletic. Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
very similar in age.
And
you know,
me, I don't know. I don't know.
but at least, the good speaker wasn't telling you that you wouldn't be allowed to speak for the rest of the day.
Oh, yeah. You.
That was a tough scolding I received.
But I didn't mean to cut in, but you mentioned naming, and I
Yeah.
just thought it was a great time.
Now,
But
speaking of naming, we're a little slow this session, like naming bridges. We usually name numerous bridges a year, and that's just such a good use of legislative time. We're going to have to catch up. We're already 2 or 3 bridges behind, I think,
Way
compared to where we should be this time of year.
I'm sure we'll make it. They're on the trade list, right?
oh, I'm sure. I'm sure they're there. But getting back to the Reggie and what you were talking about, hey, they're out front claiming this is what we support, and on the backside they don't. We had a House Resolution 60 that was just, organized week. And I had an amendment on it to just proclaim the same thing. The parties out there saying they stand for unions, they stand for organization, but yet your policies put these same people out of work. And it's just, at some point in time, everyone's got to wake up and, up front you support us, but put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, you did a great
And put
job.
people to work. I mean, that's what we all stand for. I don't care who you are. We want people working.
Yeah, it
we
doesn't
want
matter.
policies that put people to work.
It's families that are working versus families that are moving,
Correct,
and
yeah.
you did a great job of, highlighting that U.S. Steel was not able to build the newest technology, largest rolling mill in Pittsburgh,
Correct.
and it floated down to another state, and they didn't even want to vote your bill. So
No,
what'd
that's
what'd
right.
they do to
Germain,
it?
yeah. The bill's not germane, so they just move it on out. We're not going to vote it. Yeah, we're afraid to vote it. Yeah.
They wouldn't touch the button.
That's something the public probably doesn't understand, that
No.
a lot of issues here, like ID to vote. rather than voting yes or no, the Democrats vote that we're not allowed to vote on that.
Yeah,
there,
exactly.
then they can go on record as saying they never voted against ID to vote.
Yeah.
And that's what they did to that. That's
Yep.
what, they've done that, what, several times a day?
Correct, yeah.
All
That's
year,
exactly right,
long
yeah.
so far.
Yeah, it's tough times.
But hey, we're here for the long haul. We're here for the good fight to take them on.
And we'll see as this budget, comes back from the Senate, hopefully a little bit more reasonable. And, we'll have to make sure we give everybody updates along the way. And we really appreciate you coming on.
It's been fun to be here. It's been fun to be here. So
Maybe in our background, in a picture, we can put an outline of a van in it. We could put you like your
there you
your
go. There you
minivan.
go.
Your headgear on.
My favorite Zoom meeting, this one I actually did in my office upstairs. I got double booked. I was doing a Teams meeting and a Zoom meeting at the same time. And I had to be very careful with like the cameras and the microphones. And I was actually asking questions at both meetings. And that was really intense because I had notes here, and well, I guess they just caught me now, but nobody caught me doing that.
All right, well, hey, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. We'll get out of here, and we'll probably, hopefully, do another one here next Wednesday, next week, and we'll keep you updated on what's going on in Harrisburg.
Yes, take care.
All right.
All right, thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks, Brian.